Okay, so we are at the stage where you have got some kind of three-dimensional designs. Okay, and we're working towards maybe a water dispenser here. It's kind of what we've been talking about. Now, these don't look like water dispensers in any shape or form at the moment. But by adding a little bit of detail and thinking about what kind of contributes to the aesthetics of a water dispenser, very quickly you'll see how we can turn these into something that resembles probably a pretty basic water dispenser, but something that will give you some ideas to kind of springboard off. Now, most water dispensers, if you kind of Google them, will have probably a spout or kind of like a recessed with a tap in. So if we think about how that looks, maybe if I just very quickly draw this might make sense, it might not make sense. We'll kind of see how it works as we go. Just imagine, let's take that back. So it's kind of got a 3D shape to it. What you might have, in fact, most of them are probably a little bit curved. So let's imagine that there's a curve here. You've got your shape going up here. And then there might be some sort of like tap part that sits down, and you can put your cup into this section and you can fill up your glass of water. Okay, so water dispensers have that sort of option, or maybe what you've got is, I don't know, some sort of like spout thing that has a tap underneath that you would, I don't know, put your cup here or your glass like so. Okay, so you kind of got two different options, right? A spout or something that's recessed in that you put your glass into. Now, if we were to take, let's go with this really basic shape to start with. Okay, let's always start with something basic and we can kind of build into it. How can we make that look like a water dispenser or resemble a water dispenser? Immediately, there's a few options. We can maybe cut out this side and give it kind of that recessed section, or on this side as well. Or we could add, I don't know, a tap that sticks out from the end. So let's go with cutting out this part here, and then we can add a water tank potentially. So I'm going to do this very quick. So I'm kind of getting that idea across without just wasting time sketching it too accurately. Okay, so very quickly, it's something like this. Goes back over to here, and then we've got that part. Okay, so that resembles the shape. Now, if we're to build into this, let's take this front section. So let's follow this line up here, and let's follow this line up here, parallel to this line here and parallel to this line here, or roughly parallel, cut across. And now I'm going to go parallel to this line, going back and in like so, and then maybe this comes across this way, parallel to these two. And what we can kind of see is we've now got this recessed or this cutout section that I spoke about up here. So if I draw over this a little bit darker to kind of make things stand out. And you can now see that we have got this little cutout section. And maybe there's a spout here that we can't quite see sticking down. And if we go back here, maybe to make it look more like a water dispenser, we're going to add a refill tank. So maybe the refill tank needs to be quite large because we drink a lot of water during the day. And it looks something like this. So this back section here is now our tank, and maybe it has, I don't know, like a little handle that sticks up to allow the user to pick it up, refill the water, and then you go one step further and you could put maybe like a little display screen on the side that shows you some stats, so you can have some kind of information on there, and maybe two buttons on the front, one for like a really chilled version, one for kind of warmer version. Put your glass in to here, and then all of a sudden you have got your fresh water coming out of your water dispenser. So very quickly from this design, we have got something that resembles a water dispenser. Now, maybe we don't like the recessed version. Maybe we go for something that is sticking out. So again, I'll do this very quickly. Oh, that's a terrible line over here. That's not good. We've got our shape, something like this. Please take your time, like what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. We've got our rough outline. And this time we're going to go for this version. Now, we could still have a little cutout. So maybe here what we've got is... That's awful. That angle is really bad. That'll do. This can go across. This can come down here. And all I'm doing is I'm following my lines that go back to this vanishing point, vertical lines over here, and lines going back to this vanishing point that follows these lines here in this distance. And now I can add on my spout. So this is going to have kind of like a little circular section in this direction. It's going to stick out going this way. So from the center point there, I've drawn that. You can have this circle. I'm not drawing this technically accurately, so I apologize for that, but it gives you the idea as to what I'm trying to get the point across. And then you've got your spout sticking down, and you can put your glass in here to refill, other glass in here to refill, like so. And again, you could put maybe, I don't know, a little slider on the side here that kind of allows you to change the speed you fill it at potentially. Maybe some buttons over here. Who knows, okay? But what I'm trying to show you is that very quickly we can start it, or we can start to make it look like a water filter, a water dispenser. And we could even then add in a vertical section over here for our kind of refill tank at the back, like this. Draw another line going across the top. That could have some kind of like flip lid. And there you go, you've got a very quick water dispenser. So that is us manipulating a very basic shape. You could do exactly the same with these more complex shapes. You can be really creative here. You can cut bits away, you can add sections, you can do all sorts to these shapes that we initially started with to kind of give yourself a water dispenser. So whatever shape you're working on, whatever product you're designing towards, have a go at changing that basic shape into something that is a little bit more interesting, just by adding a few details. Look around, look at products near you. Do they have handles? Do they have switches? Do they have screens? Do they have bits that you can twist and take apart? And try and kind of show that, showcase it on your designs here.